My girlfriend's friend tried to get her to ditch me to get pimped out. I've seen these Reddit stories on things like Snapchat, and I have a bunch of wacky stories I always wanted to try to put on here, so let's try this one. So, flashback to around last summer. I, 24-year-old male, and my girlfriend, 24-year-old female, went to this 5-day music festival out in the forest up here in Canada. Overall, the trip was pretty decent. There was good music, food, and a nice river to go and swim in. But the one thing that made the trip not so great was her friends. It was my first time meeting them, and they weren't being very good to her, ditching us, having us babysit them and follow them around, etc. Now, where this story starts to take the extreme is around the end of the festival. We didn't have our own car, and we had to go about an 8-hour drive to where we lived. But there was a plan with one of her friends beforehand. Female, don't know her age, but guaranteed adult, as minors weren't allowed there. What about fake IDs? Now, this friend, the whole trip encouraged my girlfriend to spend all the money she could, as she said she could get us back home. But by the end, when we start going, okay, how are we going to get back? The friend didn't have a way back and started asking around for a ride. Eventually, she comes back and says she has gotten a ride for my girlfriend, but says I couldn't come. Now, of course, my girlfriend wasn't okay with this, and we ended up not going. But from what was told, her friend met these people in a peculiar tent, let's just say, and they were a whole group of older men. And the friend proceeds to explain that some things may have to happen for the ride that I'm not going to explain, because that, combined with the title, that alone can explain what was expected. So we can do that, or I guess you could do that if you really want to get juvenile with it. Now, this friend has a job of being an adult entertainer, and she was perfectly fine with doing this herself. My girlfriend, however, was not one and was not okay with doing this due to the fact of A, me and her are together, she's not going to do that to me, and B, we came together and she knows I'm not as social as her, so it would be very hard to impossible for me to get a ride back by myself. So she refused it immediately, even after the friend pushing her to do it. After about 2 to 3 minutes of back and forth between them, the friend eventually gives up and texts someone to get herself a plane ticket back. This sets my girlfriend and I off because the friend could have done this before and not try to have my girlfriend go do this first. Now me and her were left by ourselves at this festival when all her friends left. There were 2 others, but they had their own way back from the beginning. Luckily, we found a nice group of people in an RV who offered to drive us to the nearest town so we can get our way back. This ended out to be the better option anyway, because we could rent a hotel and have a shower that didn't cost us $5 each. You'd think a hotel would cost more than a $5 shower, but oh well. But the story doesn't end there. After we get back, my girlfriend decides to talk to our other 2 friends, the previously mentioned ones, about the situation, and to our surprise, they went to the defense of the other friend, mainly due to pre-existing ties, among other things. Don't fret though, there is a happy ending. Well, thank God for that. My girlfriend, being the awesome, no shit being taken kind of person, ends up ending the friendship with them due to this, on top of other reasons involving their friendship. That's a whole story of itself, lol. And fast forward to now, where we plan on going to the same festival again, but this time with good friends and a guaranteed ride there and back. So this time, it will be all chill and fun. What a fucking saga. Okay, let's check some of these comments out. Not the sus tent. Yeah, I know. There's always a sus tent at every festival. There just has to be. It's sort of like a rite of passage. This is why I don't do anything unless I have at least 2 ways out. I cannot stand to rely on other people. It is always BS. I would say it is a borderline phobia for me to be stranded and powerless, wanting to leave right now but can't. Glad there are better times now. Gas, grass, or ass, no one rides for free. Yeah, I'm not going to a festival and relying on people I barely know. When you go to a festival with a group, everyone tends to get lost as fuck and do their own thing, especially when festival drugs are involved. Knowing me, I'm not going to festival without my own ride, as I may lose myself one day and need to leave, lol. Here's a good idea. You can go to a festival and not do drugs. You can stay sober, be in the right frame of mind to tackle these problems, and you'll be way less stressed out as well. So that would be my advice for people. But I get it. You go to a festival, most people are going to want to drink and or, do some party favors.